Hello students, welcome to the very first discussion of CA Final Audit Fast Track course in 100% English delivery as per the new syllabus. Yes, I am CA Pragnesh Kanabar and I will just quickly introduce myself. I am in the 10th year of my coaching experience, and in this last decade, alright, it has been a wonderful journey. I've mentored at least 1 lakh plus students, lots and lots of toppers, rankers, alright, across India, Dubai, Nepal, and I have been fortunate enough that multiple times my students have scored All India first in audit subject at CA Inter and CA Final level. I am a content-oriented professor, and I will ensure that every single student who studies under me has the best content to write in audit paper, whether it be CA Final or CA Inter level. I've also been fortunate enough that I've helped students to convert their 25 into 55. Obviously, it is CA exam, so some students may not have cleared, but let me tell you, I have not, discarded the students who don't clear. I have been with them, alright, and in at least 1 attempt, 2 attempt, I've ensured, alright, that they clear audit subjects. So you will not only find a professor in me, but I'm for sure that you're also going to find a mentor in me for your CA exams. Now, coming to the syllabus, alright, the new syllabus which is applicable from May 24 onwards. Coming to this particular syllabus, if you go to the ICI website in audit subject, there are 3 modules that they have uploaded, alright. Those 3 modules contain 19 chapters. How many? 19 chapters. Out of those 19 chapters, 11 chapters are based upon standards and 8 chapters are other than standards ka topic, alright, like how you had in Inter-C auditing standards. In Final C also you have auditing standards, but in much more detail, alright. And that is the segregation given by the institute. When we talk about your paper pattern, institute is very clear, and it is very evident from the new syllabus modules also. And I have gone through the entire module, so don't worry about it. In the new syllabus modules, it is very clear that they are expecting more of application-based knowledge from the student. So yes, around 30-35% of paper will still be little bit in school style, where the last line of the question will tell you what are the answer that you're supposed to write, and accordingly you will write, you'll memorize 3-4 points and write it. But that will be just 30% of the paper. 70% of the paper will be application based, where the logics, the flow charts, the application, the brain exercise, all of that will be tested. And that is perfectly possible in 12 topics, 11 topics of standards and 1 topic of non-standard which deals with CA Act 1949. These 12 topics are perfectly capable of being asked as application based questions, alright, in your exam. So I have gone through the not only the module, but what is the outline of the institute, what kind of questions they are expecting, alright. And after detailed study of all of this, alright, I have drafted this particular set of books for fast track course. Now let me just give you a little bit of briefing about this, whether the study material is enough or not. And obviously in the fast track course you are worried that when we'll be covering the syllabus somewhere in between 80 to 90 hours, alright, close to 90 hours it will go. See, this is a new recording as per the new syllabus, so I cannot give you exact number of hours, but somewhere between 18 to 90 we'll be able to finish this up. Now when we are going through it, you will feel like, oh my god, is Pragnesh sir covering all the concepts or not? When you go to regular course, Pragnesh sir's regular course is around 130 hours or so. So is Pragnesh sir actually covering all the concepts? Is this just a crash course or stuff? I'm so sure that these doubts will creep in your mind. Let me tell you very clearly. You have 2 set of books. The second book is the question bank for all the chapters. Right? So all the 46 standards, it is 46, 45 hai, but these 2 standards, I've covered it over here, SA 220 and SQC1. So total 46 standards spread across 11 chapters of the institute module. The whole question bank is the copy paste of regular course question bank. So it is the same as given to the regular course. Even for non-standard topic, the question bank of regular course is copy pasted over here. Now when I have the daring to print the same question bank, that means I am very much confident that I am going to cover all the concepts even in a fast track course. Alright. But let me tell you what is the difference between a regular course and a fast track course. So the main difference lies in the discussion of standards. Alright. The main difference lies in the discussion of standards. That also in the content part of the standards. When you look at the index, and no professor will be so honest in explaining things. Professors will say we are covering everything in fast track, we are covering everything in regular also. Then why there is a difference of number of hours? Okay. So let me be very brutally honest with you. when we talk about standards, all right, so there are 11 chapters over there. All right, I've covered a 12th topic, for some extra discussions, but total 11 chapters covering 46 standards. All right. Now, if you go through my book of standards, you will see that there are some blank pages. All right, for the first 150 pages, there are some blank pages. Because what I'm going to do is, I'm going to write notes for every single concept over here. You will start writing those notes along with me. In regular course, also I'm giving these notes. In fast track course, I'll be giving some detailed set of notes. Because in regular course, I print bare content and then I give a little bit of summary notes only. All right. So that, students can underline the bare content and also write the summary. All right. And those are like, live lectures in front of me where students are sitting over here and they are, going through that. Lots of doubt solving where student will ask a question. I will give the time to argue, all right, and I will reply. All of that happens in a regular course. In fast track course also, I cover all those points. First of all, this is an in-studio recording. Secondly, I will not wait for you to think about the doubts. I will tell you that in this concept, there are 6 doubts over here. And these 6 doubts, so and so is the answer. Alright, the same thing may take, if it is taking 6 minutes over here, it will take 10-12 minutes in regular course. That is how things are there. Alright. So that is the difference. Sir, but if you have printed blank pages over here, from where we are going to see the bare content? See, I will write all the notes over here. Then I will open ICI module in front of your eyes. And I will compare the module content, alright, with whatever I have given over here. And I'll show it to you. See, this is the answer, alright, and this is how we are supposed to write. Alright. Students, when I've printed the question bank, I've also printed the answers over here. So in a fast track course, for standards, writing practice along with me, alright. Then the question bank and the answers that you will study. Of course, I will discuss the question bank. Answer every single line. Obviously, it is not possible to underline for me. That you have to read. Alright. So the content given by Pragnesh sir, the question bank of Pragnesh sir, alright, that is more than enough preparation. First, you honestly ask yourself, you are running short on time, right? And in that short time, you want to cover the entire module. And you also want to cover ICI question bank. I am covering that. Just that I have used some smart techniques so that I can cover it faster with you. Right? That is the only difference over there. In regular course, what we'll do is bare line, we will underline and we will write underline meaning, then ask some doubts, I'll ask them to reply, I will discuss on that. Lots of things keep happening over there. Alright. So that is little bit of, that is the timing difference, alright, which gets created between a fast track course and a regular course. Otherwise, concept wise, point wise, you will not find a lot of difference over there. In fact, you will not find even more than 2-3% of difference. Alright. For standards, for non-standards, the same content, the 8 chapters of non-standards, which also is expected around 40% of the paper should be from that. Those 8 chapters, same content of regular course has been printed in fast track course. So the only area where I can cut short on time is in the discussion of standards, that also not by cutting down the concept, by using some street smart techniques so that I can ensure that points are covered without giving too much time to it. That is the difference. Brutally honest answer from CA Pragnesh Kanabar to you. Alright. So my honesty is the best policy, where I am very open with the students about the differences. Alright. So if any professor is telling you that regular, fast track, everything is same, buy whatever you want to buy, but just buy it from me. Alright. Then please ask that professor to be a little bit more honest, alright, in his conversation, in his or her conversation. Okay, that's it. So I hope you are very clear. Question bank, everything is covered, don't worry about it. For MCQs, I will be drafting one soft copy MCQs and I will be sharing it on Telegram channel. What happens is, these MCQs, they need to be updated every now and then, alright. So that is why it is not possible to give everything in hard form. Whatever module MCQs are there, alright, which is printed in the ICA module, that I have covered, don't worry, all the case study based MCQs and everything. But then some extra MCQs topic wise, I am going to put it on my Telegram channel. So just stay connected with me on my Telegram channel and things will be sorted. So from there you have to solve some MCQs, that's it. Alright. That will ensure that you have good practice. Okay. That is, the clarity that I wanted to give you. Sir, is your question bank more than enough? Arey boss. If you go to the question bank, you will find questions from November 2004 also, which are still applicable in 2023, 24 and 25 and stuff. I mean, even this period, even in the new syllabus. Alright. So don't worry about it. Alright. Things are very sorted. You just stay with me, you will clear. If you want the feedback, alright, you can see it on the YouTube channel where students have scored 74, 75, 70 plus multiple times using even a fast track course. The only thing that they do is they trust the professor and they follow the instructions given by the professor and the street smart techniques that we are going to use. Alright. If you have a lot of time, always better to go for regular course. But if you're running short on time, then fast track is the best option for you. Alright. That is my honest recommendation. But if you feel that you cannot handle lengthy answers and lengthy stuff, then also fast track is the best option for you. Alright. Okay. Now everyone over here. Sure. The very first thing that we are going to do is we are going to address the elephant in the room. Many professors no, I'm not talking about me. The real problem, that is standards. Many professors, they start with that non-standard topic, because there are some interesting topics over there in the first lecture and they try to get more admissions through that. And because everyone is not comfortable with standards, that is not my case. I have my expertise in standards and I love to teach standards because that is the real fulcrum of audit subject. Alright. And that is the reason that I'm starting with the topic of standards. Done? Done. Alright, so everyone over here, you're going to write it with me. Intentionally, these things have been left blank because in fast track, you have short time and in that short time, I want to ensure proper writing practice, boss. Then I will tally things with the module. Don't worry about it. Alright. Okay. Now, everyone over here, Introduction to Standards and Essay Basics is the first segment that I'm going to teach in order to ensure that you are much more comfortable with the standards, words, vocabulary, and then I will start with every single standard. Okay. So everyone on Introduction to Standards. Come on, listen to me. In India, you have the ICAI, correct? The ICAI has established a body. Start writing, otherwise you will feel sleepy, huh? Because I cannot dance over here just to make it interesting. I'm going to give you the best content. So in India, we have the ICAI. The ICAI has created AASB, and AASB is nothing but Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. Okay. Now this AASB has issued AAS that is Auditing and Assurance Standards. I just have my system on the left hand side, so I'm just looking over there. That video is running smooth, nothing else. So Auditing and Assurance Standards. Now these Auditing and Assurance Standards are also called as Engagement and Quality Control Standards. I repeat, these Auditing and Assurance Standards are also called as Engagement and Quality Control Standards. Okay. Now listen to me. Global level, and this is something interesting that you should know. At global level, we have IFAC, International Federation of Accountants. If you want to write the full form, you can pause the video and write it over here. International Federation of Accountants. Alright. And IFAC has created IAASB. Very obvious full form. International Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. This International Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, International Auditing and Assurance Standard Board has issued IAAS, that is International Auditing and Assurance Standards. Yes, yes. Okay. Now listen to me. These International Auditing and Assurance Standards have been adopted by us. Why? Because ICAI is a member of IFAC, and that is why these International Auditing and Assurance Standards have been adopted by us. Okay. What I'm trying to tell you is that globally, these standards that you're going to learn now are accepted. Whether you are in UK, whether you're in Australia, whether you are in US, or whether you are in Japan. So these standards are accepted globally. Alright. Canada, Ireland. Alright. And that is the reason that even if you're thinking about adding some foreign courses, please read the topic of standards properly with me. Although I may be a Desi faculty, but I'm teaching an international topic. Alright. And that is going to help you in foreign courses. So without incurring coaching fees, you can clear audit papers of foreign courses. Okay. So now listen to me. These auditing and assurance standards are divided into 5 categories: SQC, SA, SRE, SAE, and SRS. SQC, SA, SRE, SAE and SRS. Let me write the full form for each of the category. SQC, standards on quality control, just full form, then I will explain you. SA, standards on auditing, and you will enjoy this explanation. SRE, standards on review engagement. Keep writing with me. No screenshots please, keep writing. In exams what they are going to ask you to upload just a screenshot or what? SAE, standards on assurance engagement. See, once in a month or so you may get calls from my employees, from my team, very hardworking team, about whether you are doing your job or not. Alright, and please reply them properly. SRS, standards on related services. So I repeat, engagement and quality control standards are divided into 5 categories: SQC, SA, SRE, SAE and SRS. Okay. In SQC category, we have just one standard. In SA 38, in SRE 2, in SAE 3 and in SRS 2. So you can see 38 plus 1, 39, 41, 44 and 46 standards. There are some more standards which Institute is developing since last 2-3 years, but they have not been made applicable. And I am not expecting for the next couple of years also for them to come into picture. But if there is any such situation, do not worry, I will give you an update video. This particular lecture, it is not said by many professors because they want to run the same lecture for n number of years. Right? So this particular lecture, alright, is very well updated for May 24, November 24 cycle. Alright, do not worry about it. Only that later on, that November 24 RTP and stuff will be added. Alright. Otherwise, this is completely updated. Just relax on that particular part. Okay. May 25, November 25 cycle, we will have some new lectures. Okay. If at all there are some changes, otherwise the same will continue. But don't worry, I will update and change the lectures in that cycle. Okay. And if you are a May 25, November 25 student enrolled for this particular lecture, just relax. Get in touch with my team. My team will ensure that you get in touch with me. Alright. And we will discuss it out. Alright. If there are some changes. But these things are very important for me to say in the first lecture before I get into every single concept. Alright. So now listen to me. I repeat, auditing and assurance standards are divided into 5 categories: SQC, SA, SRE, SAE and SRS. SQC, standards on quality control. Now, standards on quality control are just like parents. Even if they have 5 children, the same instructions are given to them. If someone offers you biscuit, don't take it. Don't eat from stranger's hand. First ask that stranger to eat. After that also you don't eat. Same instructions given to the n number of children. Alright. SQC is something like that. Practicing chartered accountant, no matter whichever assignment you are performing, there are same set of instructions that are given to you at the firm level. Alright. So it has maintain documents, maintain ethics, direct, supervise, review our team and all of that. So there are some general quality control measures over here. And that is why there is only one standard under this category. They have never felt the need to give one more standard under this category. Okay. Standards on auditing, something that you have heard of at inter-CA level. Standards on auditing deals with audit of HFS, historical financial statements. The company final accounts and stuff that you're preparing, that is nothing but HFS, historical financial statements. Alright. Because it is, the history is already done, and then you're preparing the balance sheet and P&L for the transactions which have already occurred, which have already done. Alright. But when company is raising finance, and investments and stuff, what they present is projected financial statements. That means the future financial information. Imagine as a practicing chartered accountant, you are getting audit of that particular set of financial statements. Let me tell you, standards auditing are not applicable over there. Please never read like this. For accounts, we have accounting standards. For audit, we have standards on auditing. No. There are so many different types of audit. Stat audit, audit of financial statements that you normally do, then tax audit, then internal audit, then concurrent audit, then systems audit. For internal audit, there is a separate board itself, internal audit standard board. For tax audit is done as per Income Tax Act and the guidance not given by the Institute for Tax Audit. So what I am trying to tell you is that standards auditing are not applicable for all types of audit. They strictly apply only to audit of historical financial statements, whether that audit is voluntary or mandatory, whatever it be. But if you are conducting audit of historical financial statements, you need to follow standards on auditing. Am I clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. If you are in a listed entity, I want to talk to you. And if you're not in a listed entity, then just hear me out. All right. In your articleship, I may find many articles who are in listed entity. If you are in the audit of listed entity, then I think every single quarter you need to visit. And when you go for those quarterly visits, it is called as LR. Limited review, limited review, limited review. When you go for quarterly visits, it is called as that LR, limited review and stuff. Why it is called as limited review? And why do you need to do this? SEBI wants auditor to visit every single quarter and just conduct some limited examination of the quarterly financial statements. In fact, when these quarterly results are announced, it is very clearly written over there that this is unaudited, because it is just simply reviewed. Because review means a very moderate level of examination, very basic level of examination. And how to do this? That guidance is given in SRE, Standards on Review Engagement, which deal with review of historical financial statements. A very moderate level of examination. Best example, quarterly financial statements of listed entity being reviewed as directed by SEBI. Done, done. Yes. And let me tell you that difference between audit and review is one of their most frequently asked examination question. Difference between audit and review. So what is the difference? See beta, auditing is a very reasonable level of examination, alright? Although not a guarantee, but at least a high level of examination. Whereas review is a very moderate level of examination. If you download audit reports and if you see that, you will clearly see we hereby express our opinion that financial statements of the entity show a true and fair view to the best of our knowledge and information available with us. Not a guarantee, but a high level of assurance. Whereas if you download review reports, anyways review reports are not published in public, it is there with the directors. But if you get a hand on some review report, then you will clearly see that a very limited statement is given over there. That with the limited review that we have conducted, nothing has come to our knowledge which indicates that financial statements are materially misstated. Listen to me. In audit, I am telling you, Ajay, you are a good boy. In review, I am telling you, Ajay, you are not a bad boy. I am not going to say that you are a good boy. When I say Ajay is not a bad boy, I have spent few days with Ajay, and with the few days that I have spent, I feel that Ajay is not a bad boy. Do you understand that I am not giving you a very high level of assurance, I am giving you a very limited assurance. Don't worry, I'll make you write this. Okay? Don't worry. Everyone over here. Look at this. SAE, Standards on Assurance Engagement. But SAE. Just like that. Standards on Assurance Engagement. The way it which it sounds in Hindi just means just like that. Yes, and really the category is just like that. There are 3 standards in this category. All 3 dealing with some different activities. Means I cannot give you one standard uniform explanation for that. But one thing is very clear, that these 3 standards dealing with 3 different assignments are not dealing with, the only thing common in them is that these assignments, they are not dealing with audit of or review of historical financial statements. That means all 3 are dealing with something different. Sir, for example, one standard is dealing with how to audit projected financial statements. Another standard is dealing with how to audit prospectus and stuff. Right? So all 3 dealing with something different, but relax. Right? When we dive deeper into this, we will write every single standard title and understand what they are dealing with. As of now, in the introduction lecture, just write down, it deals with assurance on information other than historical financial statements. It deals with assurance on information other than historical financial statements. Done? Done. SRS, Standards on Related Services. Listen, Ajay, Pooja, whatever is your name. Let us say that I'm your client. You are a practicing chartered accountant. I am requesting you, Ajay, Pooja, will you please help me in sorting out various admissions that have been done, giving me a clear bifurcation of the data, compiling that data, preparing a summary. Please understand, you are going to act as an accountant over here, not as an examiner. You are not going to check me, you are going to assist me over here. And that is why actually this should be named sundry assignments, but they have named it as Standards on Related Services. Alright. One thing is very clear. You are not going to check and express an opinion on something and then that report will be published and people will rely upon that report. All of that is not going to happen over here. So there is no assurance activity. You are just going to perform procedures as agreed upon with the client. You are just going to perform some procedures as agreed upon with the client, assisting the client, not examining the client over there. Alright. So I understand that when you are attending this lecture, you may find something new today, that SRE, SA, SRS you may have heard for the first time. Because in inter-CA everything was dealing with SA, SQCA and so SA and stuff. Alright. So you can just write down one example. Example over here. Quarterly review of historical financial statements in listed entity. Over here you can write down an example audit of future projected financial statements. Alright. Then you can write down one example over here. Example, compiling accounts. Compiling is just preparing a summary and stuff. Acting as an assistant to the client, acting as an accountant of the client. Alright. Otherwise, standards auditing, everyone knows stat audit of companies and stuff. Best example. Okay. And SQC itself is not an assignment. SQC tells you how to maintain quality while performing assignments under SA, SRE, SAE and SRS. Alright. That is why I said SQC is like parents. No matter how many number of children, same level of instructions are given. So when we were discussing, this chart, the major discussion, the best note that you were supposed to write is difference between audit of historical financial statements and review of historical financial statements. That is the best note that you need to write. Okay. So when I talk about audit of historical financial statements, it is a reasonable assurance activity. Again, reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance but not a guarantee. When I talk about review of historical financial statements, it is a moderate assurance limited examination. Obviously it is lower than audit. I told you that you can actually see the difference in the English also. In audit we clearly say that we hereby express our opinion to the best of our knowledge and information available with us that financial statements are showing a true and fair view. When I say Ajay is a good boy, right? That's a positive way of saying things. This is just English grammar. Positive assurance. When I say, okay, Ajay is not a bad guy, alright, that is also you have said something but in a negative manner, alright. Negative assurance. So can you just explain a little further? Yeah, can you just give us more notes? Of course, yes. Anyways, I'm going to give these notes when I teach SRE, but it is better that you write it over here. So when you talk about positive assurance, ... Now we hereby express our opinion to the best of our knowledge and stuff that financial statements show a true and fair view of the state of affairs as on year end and stuff. Right? In case of negative assurance, ... with limited examination that we have conducted, nothing has come to our knowledge that indicates that financial statements do not show a true and fair view, or that indicates that financial statements are materially misstated. Something like this has not come to our knowledge. So I'm not going to say financial statements are good. I'm going to say financial statements are not bad. Right? I want a confirmation. I want a confirmation. Are you through with this? Yes, yes, yes. Alright. So audit of historical financial statements and review of historical financial statements. We are through with the difference between both of them. And SRE, SAE and SRS, we have also understood some examples and at least a basic introduction. And SQC, we have understood that this is nothing but for some general quality control measures across all the assignments. Yes sir? Yes sir. Okay. Now everyone over here. Boss, the very first discussion that I'm going to start with is standards on auditing. Alright. Standards on auditing. Let us address elephant in the room. As I told you, 38 standards and we are gonna master it. Alright. So obviously the first thing that I'm going to start with is standards on auditing. But beta, if I really want to start with standards, it is important and very, very important that you should be clear with the word applicable financial reporting framework. Not only this word, but you should also be clear with so many other words and concepts and stuff. Yeah. So if you see how my notes are drafted now, I'm going to teach you some set of 8 to 10 concepts. And once you master it, and that is my specialty, all right, you will not find the module structured in this manner. Once you master these concepts, all right, then standards is going to be very, very simple for you. All right. Because you will feel the words and the logics and stuff. So for the first 20, 25, 26 pages, you will see that it is all about around 19 pages here. It is all about ensuring that students clear the basics. All right. And then we can start chapter wise standards as given in the module and cover the entire module. Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. All right. So for the first 20 pages or so, I'll keep on writing. And then once I am done with essay basics, I will open the module. And then module wise we'll chapter wise from the module we'll finish that module of the ICI and also make you write. So this will act as your notebook and module will act as your textbook. Alright. Okay. Now everyone over here. Come on. The very first concept, applicable financial reporting framework. But wait. Before I start with this concept, tell me beta, when it comes to standards on auditing, I just want to clear out some basics with you. Alright. Ekdam basic. Tell me, if you're conducting statutory audit or you're conducting voluntary audit, but once you're conducting audit of historical financial statements, one thing is very clear, right, that standards auditing are applicable. This is given in the very first page of the book of standards auditing, which deals with which is named as auditing pronouncements as issued by the ICAI. Very, very clearly written that boss, once you accept audit of historical financial statements, standards auditing are mandatory. All right. So you can just write down on the top of the page. It is mandatory to follow SAs, standards on auditing, while conducting audit of historical financial statements of any entity irrespective of its size, nature and complexity. I repeat, it is mandatory to follow SAs while conducting audit of historical financial statements of any entity irrespective of its size, nature and complexity. It is given in the very first page, preface to the auditing pronouncements. And then tell me everyone, hello, very, very basic concepts of inter-CA. I know that you know few points of inter-CA, but I am not going to assume that. That will be a very dangerous assumption. Tell me, when I am appointed as an auditor and if you are the client, who is responsible for preparation and presentation of financial statements? Management. It is the management's responsibility to prepare and present the financial statements. What is auditor's primary duty? To express an opinion after conducting examination, to express an opinion on the financial statements. Do you think auditor has been appointed to prevent and detect fraud and error? No. Prevention and detection of fraud and error is the primary responsibility of the management. Correct? Auditor's main duty is to express an opinion and maintain an attitude of professional skepticism. Tell me, professional skepticism, questioning mind. Auditor is a watchdog, not a bloodhound. He cannot start with a doubt and stuff. Alright. He can act, he can investigate further when he gets the evidence that okay, there is something contradictory. Professional skepticism, watchdog, not a bloodhound. Famous lines of inter-CA. Tell me, auditor can be held liable for fraud only if it is proved that auditor was negligent in the conduct of his duties. So it is not the main objective to detect fraud, but if when auditor is conducting audit, if he finds something suspicious, he is expected to investigate further. So fraud detection becomes auditor's secondary objective. Alright. If you feel like you want to write these things, okay, then don't worry. What you can do is at least 25% of the page, right? You can give it for that, and I'll make you write it. Okay. But as of now, I am assuming that you know this, although I've explained, alright, but if you want to write this, you can write it over here in the last 25% of the page. Okay. But as of now, I'm into some bigger concepts. Okay. First, applicable financial reporting framework. Very important word in audit subject. Because when you're conducting audit of historical financial statements, when you want to express an opinion, because if I'm conducting company audit, then obviously I want to check whether Schedule 3, AS, Ind AS and all of that has been followed or not. Correct? Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Alright. So that is where applicable financial reporting framework comes into picture. The framework, guidelines, financial reporting, financial statements as applicable to the entity. So in simple English, these are nothing but the guidelines applicable to the entity. For preparing financial statements. Obviously, this applicable financial reporting framework, alright, should be acceptable. It should be acceptable as per the nature of the entity. Alright. Then obviously, nature of the entity means you can't expect Tirupati Balaji Trust to prepare P&L, right? They will prepare income and expenditure. Right? Then it should fulfill the requirements of laws and regulation. Correct? Because whenever as an auditor you are accepting audit, it is very important to know the AFRF of the client. When you are driving a car, please know your MRF. And when you are auditing financial statements, please know the AFRF. Yes, yes, what a great poet I am. You must know applicable financial reporting framework, otherwise you cannot move ahead, right? Now listen to me very carefully. This applicable financial reporting framework. Let me do a further analysis. Whenever you are accepting audit of financial statements, first check, are you accepting audit of general purpose financial statements or you are accepting audit of special purpose financial statements? Sir, what is this, sir? You know, the company final accounts and stuff, the balance sheet P&L that is prepared, do you think it is prepared for one or two users? No, it is used by all the stakeholders. So that is why it is GPFS. Normally stat audit that happens in the market is of the GPFS only. But let us say that the same company has prepared a separate set of balance sheet and P&L for its parent entity or for giving it to the bank so that bank can understand the financial statements better, alright, in the format as required by the bank. So basically they have prepared it only for some one or two users, some selected users and as per their requirements. Alright. You know, maybe someone is going to invest and the investors want the financial statements to be reported in a different format. And that is SPFS, special purpose financial statements. As an auditor, it is very important for you to know you are conducting audit of which FS. Normally, if the question is silent, it is normal stat audit only of GPFS. But sometimes you may get a question on audit of SPFS also. Sir, what to do in that question? Relax, I'll come to that. Right? But as of now, at least you need to get familiar with these words. Alright. GPFS, SPFS. General purpose financial statements. When I read financial statements in standards auditing, it is historical financial statements only. Financial statements prepared to serve specific information needs of the intended users of the financial statements. Intended users? Sir, specific information needs? Sir, this is wrong. Exactly. Start realizing it. Start realizing what you're writing. It will not be specific. It will be to serve common information needs. This is also my style of teaching. Right? If you have written this in subconscious mind and you are just copying, like a typist, then you should realize that you may not clear the exams, but I want you to score 60 plus. So say focus, not specific, general purpose, common information needs. But if you realize this, then congratulations, you are an alert student. Sir, of the intended users, no. Of the majority of the users, basically all the stakeholders. All right, that is general purpose financial statements, the normal company final accounts and stuff. Special purpose financial statements, you have to copy this now. Financial statements prepared to serve specific information needs of the intended users of financial statements. Done? Done. Okay. Why do you need to know this, this audit of GPFS, SPFS and stuff? Because my dear friend, this whole audit of SPFS, special purpose financial statements, is covered in SA 800. Whereas the stat audit, the normal audit that we conduct, company final accounts and all of that, basically audit of GPFS, whether statutory, voluntary, whatever it is. Alright? But it is covered in the normal day-to-day audits that you have seen, SA 200 to SA 720. Am I clear with this? Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Right? So one more time, come on, fast track. General purpose financial statements prepared to serve common information needs of all the users, majority of the users of the financial statements. Special purpose financial statements prepared to serve specific information needs of the intended users of the financial statements. Yes sir. Alright, now listen to me further. This is very sensitive. That is why I said that this concept is extremely important. Alright. Even when you are accepting audit of general purpose financial statements, you need to do a little bit of further analysis. So what is this? Now this is something very sensitive that can be asked at CA final level. So please stay focused. Alright. See, just go to your cooperative housing society where you are staying. Alright. If you are staying in a private estate, then please call me for a vacation. Please go to the cooperative housing society where you are staying. Go to that secretary, that boring secretary of the society. Alright. If your father is secretary, then I'm sorry. Then go to that secretary. Have a conversation with that person. Ask him or her to share the balance sheet and P&L of cooperative society. And you will see that, boss, it's a very old, outdated format. There is no additional set of notes to accounts or additional annexures attached so that people can understand the financial statements. They are just following the format which is given by the registrar. That's it. Registrar where the society is registered, they are just following that format. That's it. Right? No additional effort taken to achieve fair presentation. Right? Such kind of frameworks are called as compliance framework. Such kind of frameworks are called as compliance framework. Alright. But there is no further effort taken to achieve fair presentation. Download the financial statements of Reliance, Tata and stuff. When you download these financial statements, you will realize that yes, they have followed Schedule 3 in the AS, right? But there are much more disclosures, notes to accounts given so that the stakeholders can understand the effect of some transactions. Because the focus is not only just to comply with Schedule 3 AS or Ind AS, but the focus is also to give some more disclosures so that those financial statements can achieve fair presentation. Such kind of frameworks are called as fair presentation framework. You know what? Whenever you're accepting audit, first of all, you should check whether it is GPFS or SPFS. Normally, if the question is silent, it is GPFS only. Then further you need to check you are auditing under which framework. Fair presentation framework or compliance framework. Let me tell you, the company final accounts, the whole company final accounts, Schedule 3, AS, Ind AS and stuff, it is fair presentation framework. Where management is required to comply with the requirements of the framework Yes, management is required to comply with the requirements of the framework, but additionally, and there is an additional responsibility on the management to provide additional disclosures to achieve fair presentation. There is an additional responsibility on the management to provide additional disclosures to achieve fair presentation. In fact, if you actually go through detailed analysis of Schedule 3 AS Ind AS, there is a line written in Schedule 3 that the disclosures given in Schedule 3 are minimum disclosures. Additional disclosure should be given in order to achieve fair presentation. I mean, in order to explain material transactions and stuff. Yes. In fact, there are so many lectures of FR in accounts in inter CA or final CA where you would have argued with the professor that, sir, there is an alternate treatment also that is possible. Sir, we can show it in this manner also. And sir will tell you, yeah, okay, you can do that. That is also fine. But please explain it in the notes to account so that, examiner can understand. Same logics are also used, while dealing with the corporate audits in the real life also. Right? Sir, why are you going in so much of detail? Because when you are conducting audit under fair presentation framework, that means normal corporate audits, you are allowed to use in the audit report the phrase true and fair view, whether the financial statements are showing a true and fair view or not. That is why in the audit reports of Reliance, Tata and stuff, you see this word true and fair view. In fact, in our private limited company audit report also, you will see the word true and fair view, because the whole company final accounts is not just a compliance framework, it's a fair presentation framework. But you know what? Institute has said it very clearly that when you are conducting audit under a compliance framework, because the focus is only on compliance, there is no additional responsibility on the management to achieve fair presentation. You are not allowed to use the phrase true and fair view when you are expressing an opinion. We just simply say that these financial statements are materially prepared in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework, but if they are showing a true and fair view or presented fairly, we don't do that. That is why you are learning the concept. Sir, you are saying so much, sir, can you make us right? Obviously, yes. But it is important for you to understand the importance of the concept and how it can affect your whole audit subject. All right? So everyone over here, compliance framework, best example is cooperative society accounts. In some states, because in different states there are different laws, Central Cooperative Society Act has a very good law on the financial accounts and financial statements and stuff. So where they are achieving fair presentation. But in Maharashtra State Cooperative Society or West Bengal or Gujarat, there are some rigid laws of Cooperative Housing Society also, where the accounts format is just given and there is no other additional responsibility to achieve fair presentation. So across India, everywhere in Cooperative Society, I am not saying it is a compliance framework, but yes, in most of the cases it is. Alright. So what is a compliance framework? Management is required to comply with the requirements of the framework and there is no additional responsibility. Just complete it. There is no additional responsibility to provide additional disclosures in order to achieve fair presentation. Provide additional disclosures in order to achieve fair presentation. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Why are we studying this full concept? All right. We can put a triple asterisk on compliance framework. I think you will have some space over here because little bit of space you are going to write for, you have left for those basic points of auditing of inter CA, alright? Or here or top of the page, wherever you have the space, please write down. Please write down, I am dictating. Otherwise, I know you are just going to take photographs and screenshots and stuff. Now you will have to write, alright? Please write down, I am dictating. These PDFs that I'm writing, I'm not going to share it with you. You have to write it. Even if you're running short on time, you'll have to write it, but otherwise you'll not clear. Right? So please write it. In such audits, auditor is not allowed to use the phrase. In such audits, auditor is not allowed to use the phrase true and fair view or presented fairly while expressing an opinion. In such audits, auditor is not allowed to use the phrase true and fair view or presented fairly while expressing an opinion, unless required by law. If law wants me to use that phrase, I will use it. I will not compromise with the business. Unless required by law. So then what is the exact phrase that is used? Don't worry, but I am going to teach you audit report in great details. But you should understand that right from essay 200, which talks about overall objectives, essay 210, which talks about agreeing to the terms of engagement, till essay 705, which talks about modification to the opinion, and 700 series, which talks about opinion, from first essay till the last essay, which deals with GPFS and stuff. Alright, this concept is going to have a very big impact. So you just can't remember it in short. Applicable financial reporting framework is nothing but the guidelines used for preparing financial statements. No, you should know it properly. Okay. And then initially few lines which I wrote, basics of audit of FS. I mean, I just dictated those lines. If you want, you can write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I am dictating. Please write down. First point. Preparation and presentation of financial statements is the responsibility of management. Preparation and presentation of financial statements is the responsibility of management. You can pause and write down. Okay. Preparation and presentation of financial statements is the responsibility of management. Second, prevention and detection of fraud and error is the primary responsibility of management. Prevention and detection of fraud and error is the primary responsibility of management. Third, auditor's primary duty is to express an opinion on the financial statements. Auditor's primary duty is to express an opinion on the financial statements. Fourth, auditor is expected to maintain an attitude of, if you have forgotten the spelling, professional skepticism. Auditor is expected to maintain an attitude of professional skepticism, that is questioning mind, not a suspicious mind, that is questioning mind throughout the audit. So yes, maintain alertness, but don't bark. I mean, don't bite unnecessarily. Watchdog, not a bloodhound. Auditor is expected to maintain an attitude of professional skepticism, that is questioning mind or maintaining alertness throughout the audit. Fifth, auditor can be held liable for fraud only if it is proved that he was grossly negligent. So go slow. Repeat it, Baba, it's online. Auditor can be held liable for fraud only if it is proved that he was grossly negligent. Otherwise, he can never be held liable for fraud, right? If he can prove that he has done his job, he cannot be held liable for fraud. Done. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So come on, this is how I'm going to move forward. I'm going to teach you lots of more concepts, more sensitive concepts coming your way. All right. And then I will start chapter by chapter on standards and you will feel very comfortable. And I will also discuss the questions with you. All right. So I'm with you. I hope you are with me and we are going to clear audit subject with an exemption. See you in the next session. Thank you.